How's it going, everybody? We are here, Last Choice Network, bringing you Parents vs. Gaming, episode 16. It's July 11th. I can't believe we're still going 4 months strong. I am the gaming dad, James Ayers. Let me introduce the cast tonight. Right here in the middle, you've got U.S. Bobber himself, Mr. Jay Noller. Jay, how are you?
Good, how you doing, Knight?
Good, man. And all the way on the end, special guest tonight, we've got Taylor Brown, Master of Shadows. How are you, Taylor?
Doing good.
Nice. All right, so before we get into it, this is going to be an anime episode. We're going to talk about kind of what's good, what is safe for your kids, what's not safe for your kids, the extra talent that is put on display for an anime show that some people might refer to that as the Japanese art style is definitely very different. But let's kind of go around the room and tell us how your week's been. Jay, I know you've had some crazy stuff happen with the arena football team this week. Can you give us a little recap of what happened? Because I'm sure Taylor and I, being from Texas, we're going to have a good laugh at this.
Okay, so we were supposed to have an exhibition game this weekend. It was supposed to be against the San Antonio Valor, which is another arena football team. Everything got set up. Well, and then myself personally, my business took me down to San Antonio. So as I'm flying down there and jumping on and off planes, I'm getting messages saying that the San Antonio Valor may or may not be showing up. And so after all was said and done, the San Antonio Valor team is no mas. And the owner took the money and run. And the players and the coaching staff had showed up to the bus to like drive up in their sleeping motor coaches and stuff, only for the owner of those motor coaches to inform them that they never got paid. The credit card doesn't work. And then so it was just big fallout. Like guys couldn't cash game checks and everything else. And of course, I was in San Antonio at the time. So I'm texting the league commissioner and my coach like, hey, you want me to roll over to this dude's house, drag him out in the street, beat the shit out of him? I got a bunch of dudes here. We'll bring some pipes and baseball bats. And couldn't get a hold of him, couldn't do anything. So I finished up my work and everything and came back and hung out with the family all weekend.
That's absolutely crazy. So the battle of who's better at football, the South versus the Northwest, never took place.
I think it did. I think we won. We pay our bills. We pay our players.
That's not
an arena.
That's not the players' fault.
Very low threshold for us to claim victory on this one this weekend. So we're going to claim it as a forfeit for our fun exhibition. But yeah, no, we're still around, and we've got a couple more games coming up here, and then on to playoffs. So I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on.
No, I did have a question with it. Just, obviously it's a little bit different. You don't see something like this happen in the NFL or any of the major sports here. You sell tickets to these games. Do you just refund everybody? How did you let the fans know? You just blasted on social media or sorry, game's canceled, the other team sucks?
Right?
Yeah, no, and that was basically our post. Our posse that we have, we kind of call our fan base. We let them know via social media. We started issuing the refunds. And it was like a double negative for us because we were also doing an autism awareness, and so a lot of our ticket proceeds were going to the Autism Awareness Foundation. So we had a huge, massive charitable contribution that was going to come out of this game, which we weren't able to because obviously no game. No revenue, nothing to be able to give to the Autism Foundation. So San Antonio Valor.
Not much valor with that team, I guess.
No, fuck them all.
Well, listen, if any of you guys are listening from the San Antonio team by chance, I am not doing that to you. So I don't have any ill will. I live here in Texas. I support you. And good luck
the players were
finding a new team.
And just to clarify, players were awesome. Coaches were awesome. The owner can go fuck himself with a cactus as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, these guys, I'm sure these guys, some younger, some older, have, they're still putting their heart and soul. They're not making top dollar. And they're still, some of them have jobs, I'm sure. And then they're showing up to practice to be on a football team. To go through all that, that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that was my week.
All right, so Taylor, we have you here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. special episode this week, like I said, going over anime. We really want to, we talk about gaming all the time and what's good for your kids and how to help your kids understand. And as a parent, what's gaming is safe and that you should support your kids gaming and all these other things. And a lot of people kind of tie in anime with gamers. A lot of, you hear a lot of that stereotype of, oh, you're a gamer, you're a nerd. Oh, you probably watch anime too. So with that being said, I do know that a lot of gamers are into anime, especially, you have anime video games as well. So we've brought you on to kind of help us, as Jay and I are not very well versed into the anime. You know, as anyone I know personally, as much as possible. But before we jump into that, can you just kind of tell everyone who you are, what you do, where you come from, why you're wearing that A&M hat?
Well, best team in college football. Come on. No, hey, don't hate on them right now. It may come back to bite you later.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'll keep sporting my Buckeyes.
I'm originally from Lexington, Texas. I currently live in Giddings, Texas right now. I'm actually a glazer, which is work in construction. We do the framing and windows and everything for major commercial buildings and stuff like that. One of our big contracts is like HEBs that are down here. You won't know them from the north, but from the south you see them because they're literally your bigger grocery stores in Texas. Other than that, it's been a good week. I just got back from a loss in a softball game. It was a little upsetting since we were up 9-2 and lost. Yeah.
Wow. Atlanta Falcons much?
Oh yeah, no, it was bad because we lost in the second to last inning. They hit a three. No. They hit a 3-run bomb and then a 3-run double. It was not good for us.
Now, from what I understand, you told me the story earlier, Jay. They had this guy come up to bat that everyone in the league thinks sucks. So the outfield squeezed all the way in, thinking he couldn't hit the ball, and he Tim Tebow'd them over their head, and that's why they lost.
Yep, he burned us.
Look,
he's
that's
never
going down,
hit the ball.
That's going down as like his peak moment of his entire life.
He is running his mouth.
That's amazing.
That is his 4 touchdowns at Polk High story that he will share the rest of his life.
It's his Al Bundy moment.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. So for those in chat, I know we record this podcast live, so if you're listening to this later and you ever want to watch this live, you can jump on twitch.tv/IamTheGamingDad and join us if you want to join in the chat and whatnot. So don't be afraid for those that are here. As we're going, throw things out in the comments. I see Alligator Loki, Mrs. Shadow, Mel La, right, bros. Everyone knows, right? Gump is here. Gump, you know what? The Xbox Game Pass taking over. We are going to lean into that very soon because I want to do kind of a tutorial. And Jay in the middle, you see here, he's already freaking out. He's a PlayStation guy, but yes, correct. Game Pass is getting better and better and better, and we're gonna do deep dive soon. We're dedicating this one to anime. So, like I said, if you guys do have any questions, please jump in, throw them out. We'll interact with you as we go. So we're moving along, Jay. Game Pass is for another week.
Okay, good. I have lots of questions though. I have been looking forward to this all week. Once we figured out we were doing anime, because I have so many questions right now. And just so you know, the show is probably going to turn R-rated very quick. I have a lot of questions.
All right. So, Taylor, for those that are like, what is anime? What is anime? Is that just a cartoon? Before we jump into it, just explain, as people that don't know what it is, right? Imagine that you're speaking to someone that has no idea what anime is. Just kind of break down the basics of anime.
So anime actually is the art style in which the animation is done. Normally they like to use a lot of vibrant colors and brighter. There are some darker animes, but it originated in Japan. There's not all anime is from Japan anymore because Americans have taken the art style and they're using it to make animation themselves. So it's still anime, it's just made here in the States instead of in
America.
Japan. That's highest form of honor is normally you're mimicking somebody else is normally what that is. So, but that's mainly what anime is an art style in which the animation is done in.
Okay, so to kind of set the tone, I know a lot of parents may casually look over at the television, see their kid watching it, and if you're just like those parents that don't know a lot about gaming, they don't know what they're looking at. You look over, it's a Saturday, you think, oh, wow, Saturday morning cartoons look a little bit different, but you just walk away from it. So would you agree that there's some anime that is very kid oriented and some anime that a kid definitely should not be watching?
Oh yes, there's lots of genres of anime. There is some anime that is more focused on a younger crowd, and there's definitely animes that are focused on like your mid teenagers, your preteens, and then there's even animes out now that are definitely focused on an adult crowd. Like there's no way that I would ever let a kid under the age of 18 even watch those.
So
And
now,
I'm not talking about the kind you would find on some peculiar websites that
yeah.
you wouldn't want anyone watching really. But I'm talking just straight anime.
Okay, so give us a couple examples of some very popular, easily accessed anime that any kid or somebody could find pretty easy, and it's something that a lot of kids probably do watch. Give us a couple examples of those shows.
A couple examples of those shows like Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, One Piece. There's a lot of them in there that are in that kind of genre that kind of started up like Cartoon Network really made a hard push for them back in the day. A lot of kids, they probably shouldn't be watching it, but JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is really big right now. I don't personally like it. I just don't like the style of the anime. There were some older ones back in the day, like Rave Master and stuff like that, that was technically anime. That was an American cartoon that showed up on Saturday mornings. Fairy Tail's another really big one. Did I say Sword Art Online? Sword Art Online's real big, but I probably, again, wouldn't recommend that for your kids. It dives really deep into psychological things that kids probably shouldn't be thinking about.
That is the only one that I watched that you got me suckered into, and I learned very quickly. Season 1, any age could watch. I believe that. Episode 1 of Season 2, you should not let your kid watch that. There's some very... I learned real quickly how anime goes to a dark side. And Jay is dying to ask questions here. Jay, go ahead. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm a big Reddit guy, and so I see all kinds of like anime stuff popping up all the time. But what the hell is hentai?
Hentai is actually porn that is made using the Japanese anime style.
So it is a subcategory of what you were talking about to not let your kids watch.
That's the one you would find on.
But it is an anime.
It is using anime art style to make adult content, basically. It falls
okay, because I saw a TikTok of Morgan. No, it was of Samuel L. Jackson on. This is a long route to get over here. Samuel L. Jackson, I think was on Jimmy Fallon, and he mentioned something, and and I like hentai too, and I went, "What the hell is hentai?" So Sammy Jackson, down with it, getting after it. Okay, other questions. First of all, is Voltron considered an anime?
Yes, it is in the anime art style. The newer stuff, especially the older stuff, it falls into like the more like old style of anime that they used to use. They've definitely upgraded since then. Like you're talking old Voltron falls into like Kenichi World's Strongest Disciple category, like that older style of animation.
Taylor, we have someone in chat asking, is Courage the Cowardly Dog, is that an anime?
No, that is not. That is actually an American cartoon.
So you're saying Voltron's anime, but things like Transformers, G.I. Joe, all that's a cartoon.
Those were actually, if you look them up, a lot of them will say that they are American cartoons. They won't say that they're anime or Japanese-oriented animation.
Okay, because for me,
It's
as a kid, my shows were G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Voltron all around the same time. So
yeah, Voltron's actually based originally around a Japanese anime that was produced in Japan before they transferred it over and started making it in America.
and someone mentioned Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm pretty sure that's anime, correct?
Yeah, that's anime. They actually have a manga for it, and a lot of times you can see a lot of your
Excuse me,
animes
what?
come to
Wait,
a
what?
manga.
Huh?
What word?
Manga.
What's a manga?
That is basically your comic books for anime. A lot of animes actually derive from them. They start as a
their
manga.
source material, kind of.
Yeah, it would be like watching the old X-Men on the 90s X-Men show and then reading the comics. It would be the same thing,
Okay.
basically.
So any parent that could be watching or listens to this later, give me an example of what they should be looking out for as far as how can they know what's safe just by glancing over, or what should they be looking into?
I know this answer. The female protagonist.
It's not always just the female protagonist. Yes, when they are looking for an older audience,
just so we know, for those,
to sexualize their characters a lot. So they really like to just like what they did with the old. I'm gonna bring up the X-Men again. The '90s X-Men comics. They really sexualize the characters to really make the women that much better looking. They increased their breast size and their butt size to just provide more eye candy, basically. In anime, they call that fan service.
So Gump says stay away from the tentacles.
I would stay away. I would. There's also, if you're just looking through anime, like you've seen your kids watching, if any of them pop up in the ecchi category, I would definitely keep them from watching any of that.
Now, when you say kids,
Etsy? Wait,
Ecchi.
Ecchi or Etsy?
Ecchi. Ecchi is it's really suggestive towards sex and things like that. Super suggested. So
okay, so the average family, the average household is going to have, whether you've got cable and you've got Cartoon Network, which I think you mentioned has some anime. Then you've got Hulu, Netflix, Disney. Those are your basic, streaming channels, streaming services. What kind of anime can kids come across on that's super accessible to them?
Oh, right now, Netflix is they've been pumping out anime after anime after anime. And there's a lot of them on there that are not kid-friendly. Even ones that are real super bright and colorful, like Seven Deadly Sins, it is not kid-friendly. I will say that much. Maybe as you get into preteens and older, they can start watching it, but under 12, probably not, because it's got some suggestive themes to it. There's death, blood, and gore in it. So, and it looks like a old cartoon. It really does.
So let's break. I want to keep this simple for those listening again, and that are trying to understand. So let's do a 12 and under category. Give me your top 3 anime that you would find safe for 12 and under.
Top 3 anime safe for 12 and under. Considering I haven't probably seen any of those in years because I don't really watch those anymore. But
I mean, they could be older. They could be older episodes too.
It's hard not to say stuff like Pokemon and Digimon because those are anime.
Okay.
And both of those are safe for kids. They have life lessons they teach in them and different things like that. You're looking for animes like that for kids that are actually trying to show life lessons and the hardships that you can go through as you grow up.
Okay. So you've got Pokemon, Digimon. Where does something like obviously Dragon Ball Z is pretty popular?
I probably not under the age of 6, because there's a lot of physical violence in it, but it does the big point of it is perseverance.
Okay.
Through the main characters, it's really showing that if you just keep trying and pushing yourself, you can achieve pretty much whatever you want. That's mainly Goku's whole superpower, is that no matter how many times that he gets knocked down, he always comes back.
Okay, so now we're outside the 12-year-old range. 18 and under, because I would say, in my opinion, you're in that PG-13 range, right? So at this point, in my opinion, is for a parent that doesn't understand, it goes back to the same thing we talk about games. It is, what are you comfortable? Jay, you and I have said this multiple times. If you're not comfortable having that conversation with your kids, then it's probably not something you should let them watch or play. I would imagine that's got to be the same for anime. So with that being said, Taylor, what would you, in your opinion, the 12 to 18 range, start to kind of say that this is okay? You know, give me your top 3 for that area.
Well, ones I really like with that, they're stronger violence, but there's not, they don't step into the suggestive like sexual themes as much. As like Sword Art Online is a really good one. I like some older ones like Kenichi, World's Strongest Disciple, another violent, but it was actually really good. Let's think, what else do we have in the repertoire? Because a lot of the stuff I watch now isn't something I would put in here.
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon actually would probably be fit in your lower category because there's not as much violence in it as you think. Because a lot of it's more like magical girl, them using their abilities to defeat a bad guy rather than physically hitting them.
Are you saying abilities, or are you talking about their on-air talent, as Jay has alluded to earlier? Because I have seen the thumbnails on Hulu, and they look very well endowed.
They do, but they don't get into suggestive themes.
Okay.
The top button's always done. Don't worry about it, James. The top button is always done.
If the top button is up, then it doesn't matter that they've got 2 watermelons walking around in their shirt.
Top button's done, and they normally have a tie or a bow on.
Yeah, look, we're not going to body shame Sailor Moon, okay?
Listen, I'm looking out for someone. I'm looking out for someone that's like 12 and 13 years old. You know what? You know, like that's what I'm saying. Is it?
If you're looking into like body image, and you're really worried that your kid may have a problem with it, may stay away from stuff like that because they really push these super fit, hey, you need to look like this type. But it's not that big of a deal in that anime. It really isn't.
Yeah. No, I know I worked for an international resort for years, all through my 20s and 30s, and met a lot of different cultures, Europeans, Asians, and it's definitely... the culture over there looks at these kind of things way different than the average American family. So I know that we're talking about, you know, the anime is coming out of Japan and stuff. Most families over there aren't thinking anything of their 12-year-old kid watching any of that. That's just how it is.
Well, they even still, like, Japanese culture also, they have a big thing against showing actual nudity. They're not real big into doing it. Even in some of their more adult stuff, they refuse to do it by blurring it out or just covering it up. They'll show everything but like the nipple maybe, or they never show crotch shots ever in anything.
Yeah, I have heard that they don't go all the way. They just, it's very suggestive, like we've said.
They go all the way. You've just got a big pixel box. Over the box.
I think you're back on hentai.
You know,
how much research did you do, Jay, before this?
Look, you come across
you went to Pornhub.
All kinds of gifts and everything else. Dude, I asked you if you wanted me to be here because I had no idea, and I told you that I'd just seen shit on the internet, and that I'm going to have to get my answers from somewhere because I can't have what is hentai in my browser history if I go out and get run over tomorrow. Like, that's not what I want the FBI to see, is him being like, oh, hentai, tentacles, like, what did you say? Watermelon chests? Like, I am not blameless. I am not going to be the only one getting blamed here.
Just so you know, chat says, that's just what I've been told. Gump's over here laughing at all your words. Now, Taylor, I don't want to go too far down the deep end. You know, I don't want to sit here. I don't want anyone to listen to this and think that me or Jay, we're just like trashing on anime. And because I've met a lot of kids that talk about it, whether it's Dragon Ball, Pokemon, all these things, and then they get into it. Anime is still a good source of like fun things to watch for kids and young teenagers, right? I don't want to take that away from them. So let's talk a little bit about what you find to be good about anime versus just your basic Saturday morning cartoon, or them watching a TV show, or not watching anything at all. Can you talk about a little bit what good can come out of it?
So there's actually a whole genre kind of dedicated to like your preteen to 18-year-olds, and older generations do like. I don't find them as appealing to me. They're called slice of life, where it's literally an anime about people's lives. It's basically what you would watch like a soap opera, but now you take them and you age them down to like teenagers. And you also have a lot of animes that are, you have an anime that's about nothing but a men's volleyball team, one that's about a basketball team. There's one that's about swimming. There's even one about ice skating called Yuri on Ice.
Bobsled?
No, I don't think there's a bobsled. There might be in the background of that one, because the Yuri Ice does have a lot of winter games in it outside of just the ice skating, but that's mainly its big thing is ice skating. But
just like in the background of a scene, you see a bobsled go down. That's
maybe,
as close as you're getting.
This is bullshit. I demand representation.
You already got it in a movie, except it was the Jamaican bobsled team. Cool runnings. There's your representation. Hollywood gave it to you. But no, there's a lot of good, like, there's life lessons that are taught in a lot of them. There's some sadder ones, like I think it's Your Lie in April. It's a really good anime. It's pretty sad towards the end, but a lot of animes try to teach a lesson like that are more like directed towards younger kids and the younger ages. Some of the more adult themed animes, they're not trying to teach a lesson. They're there strictly to be entertaining. And that's like the big differences in them. You can really tell once you start sitting down and watching them, like which ones are trying to actually teach like a kind of a life lesson or something, and which ones are just trying to be entertaining. Because the ones that are normally trying just to be entertaining are normally not the ones you want your kids to watch, because they are more willing to push the boundaries than one that's actually trying to get a point across.
Okay, so now we've talked about kind of the top three for the youngest, top three for the teens. Give me two anime that if you think your kid is into it, and you as a parent would like to try to watch it with them, and you don't want to watch the same Disney movie 500 times in a row. Give me two animes that you would find fun for, that kind of younger teen generation that a parent could sit down and enjoy the show with them, where it's not hitting those adult themes, where it's awkward that the parent and the kid are there doing this together. I don't want to set anyone up, but what would be your opinion on that?
Well, definitely. I'm always going to fall back on it. I know a lot of people hate on it now because they think it's too mainstream, but I really enjoyed Sword Art Online. And like, if you're talking like teenage age, Sword Art Online isn't bad for that age range. So, and it's really interesting because I got you into it, who never even watched anime. So,
okay, I'm just gonna step in again. I said season 1 I think is fine. You said Sword Art Online. I don't know when the last time you watched season 2 was. Jay, do you know anything about Sword Art Online?
Oh no.
No.
So Jay, Sword Art,
not at all.
Sword Art Online is basically it was relevant to me because I was really big into VR gaming. So these kids get this new VR headset and they get trapped in the game world, and if their parents like remove the VR headset, like it kills them, so they have to go through all these levels. They have to defeat the game basically to get all these kids out. And it's just season after season. Anyways, by season 2, probably by the 3rd or 4th episode, there's like 2 girls that get raped, and then he murders them because they don't all the way there, but this guy's like attempting to do it. So then the main character comes in and just like murders them like he's John Wick with a sword. So Taylor, you're telling me that's okay for a young teen and a parent to watch together?
What I actually think you watched wasn't season 2 of Sword Art. I think it was season 2 of Alicization, which is the final finale of Sword Art Online.
No,
because Sword Art Online Season 2, I don't even remember it getting that bad in it.
I'm going to find the episode later and show you. For sure.
Is it James? Is it like that episode of was it Black Mirror that we were talking about with the two guys who get stuck in the VR game?
Yeah.
It's
kind of. I mean, the concept of it's really good. The first season's real friendly. It's about people. It's just like when we game together. We have our little group of gamers. That's what it would be like. Imagine us being stuck in a game, and if you die in the game, you die in real life and all that. Crazy stuff, but it's but they.
I'm always the one that's going to die first.
No, but
Jay would be dead.
they do try to work together for the most part, and then there's. I mean, I don't want to spoil it for anyone to watch it. It is really, really interesting. It's a really, really good show. There was just a couple of episodes, hit or miss, that came up. My suggestion as a parent that doesn't know what they're watching, these episodes typically are 15 to 25 minutes long. There's usually no commercials or anything like that with the way you're getting them, whether it's Hulu, Netflix. If you start to get worried and you think this is going to be suggestive, it's super easy just to kind of like skim through the episode and then watch it with your kid. That just me as a parent and someone that it's super easy to just take a peek. It's not a 2-hour movie you've got to filter or anything like that. Taylor, would you agree with anything like that?
Yeah, it's super easy. I normally skim episodes myself just because I've probably watched 100 of them. And I like going through and finding like clips and stuff from different ones that I just want to rewatch something real quick because I missed something. But on Netflix, it makes it super easy to skim with their ability to select in the show. It actually shows you frame by frame as you're skimming through it.
So if you see tentacles, just turn it off.
Well, it depends on how you see the tentacles. If they're just fighting them, you might be fine. Yeah, probably not. But another one for that age range that I actually enjoyed. It seemed a little childish at first, but it developed more. And it's one that your brother likes. He's watched it. He's almost through with it now. It's a Fairy Tale.
Yeah, you mentioned that one earlier.
It's a really good one. Yeah, it's a really good anime. I enjoy that one a lot.
Jay, do you have any other questions for Taylor on this?
No, I'm just glad after he explained to me what was going on that I did not put it in my browser history and my FBI agent did not have to look the other direction. So thanks for kind of clarifying that. And I also wanted to mention that I was actually in Japan when Voltron was being released, and that was my absolute #1 show. And I still have the original 5 toys from Voltron at my parents' place. So I am a huge
mini
fan.
lion robots.
Oh yeah, all 5 of them put together with the sword and the shield, dude.
Now Jay, that Netflix brought it back because a lot of people don't. We don't think about this because we were kids. But Voltron was like a season and a half, maybe like 18 total episodes or something like that. Netflix brought it back, and I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons. It's actually pretty good, and it's like 10 to 15 episodes a season. And I think they're in like season 8 right now. And I've
already watched them all.
I knew he was going to say it.
Is that why you were so excited to make sure that it was anime so you could say you are an anime person?
Thank you. Now you understand. And I also get the Pokemon reference, a little Bulbasaur. I wore the shirt in honor of Pokemon. My son's huge into it. We play the card games too. But one thing I wanted to say about the anime was one of the things that I like is it's almost like a chapter book. Because a lot of our Saturday morning cartoons were just a complete episode. Good guy comes in, blah, blah, blah. And there was no like tune in next week sort of thing because you really didn't care. Whereas this, like, it actually is building towards a conclusion. There's a big story arc, as opposed to just, like I said, like the 30 minutes in, out, Yojo, and, we move on.
Literally the worst thing in anime of all time. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. After they've screamed at each other for 30 minutes. I love Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong. But sometimes they chose the most inopportune times to end a show. Like, it's just about to get to the part you want to see, and they're like, no.
It's been a half hour of them powering Vegeta, like powering up and stuff. You're like, let's go. Next time on you guys suck. Like
The worst part is, you knew it was coming because they changed the music to this real dramatic sounding music right before they do it. So it's just like, no, you're not. No. And then you get the tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh no! That for me, that was Batman as a kid, the live action show. Same bat time, same bat channel. Jay, don't act like you didn't watch that show. Don't sit all there in the middle like you didn't watch Batman.
I have never been a big DC fan. I am not down with emo superheroes. I can't do it. I've never been a big fan of them, and especially Batman. Oh no, my parents died. Like, I'm going to be a multi-billionaire. Like, I mean, just dude, stop. Like, go over.
Listen, I just loved all the things that, like, I was as a kid. I was afraid of the ocean. I was afraid of sharks. Batman had shark repellent. I mean, he had all these cool things that like stopped everything.
I'm literally about to rain on your parade, Jay.
What
about DC and Marvel? Tony Stark is literally the same character.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The difference is
literally the same exact character.
Yeah, I am not. Listen, I don't want to. Well, don't listen. I'm not trying to piss anyone off. I'm a DC fan. I'm an Arrowverse fan more than I am this DC disaster that they've put on the movie screens. But I'm also a huge Marvel fan. I will literally throw my money at just about everything that they put on the movie screen. We talked about that before. So I am not picking one over the other. I'm not going to sit here and say DC's better or Marvel's better. I don't care. I just want to see good movies and good TV shows.
I think that there are... Better. Yeah, no, there's definitely some little differences. Because the difference is between Batman and Tony Stark. Batman will have a girl and be like, ugh. Oh, I can't live my life and have this. Whereas Tony Stark's like, yeah, I'll put a ring on it. I don't give a shit. Like, I mean, he's like all about it.
Yes, but they also super dove into Tony Stark's alcoholism and how it was ruining his life too in the comics.
Like, he's thirsty.
It's real life.
No, it's not. That's how he's thirsty.
How he got the job.
They went really dark with his character for a long time.
Wait, I thought Robert Downey Jr. got busted for hookers, not for alcoholism. What?
Yeah,
I'm thinking of or was it what? Oh no, that was the other guy got busted for like hookers and blow.
I thought it was heroin. I thought RDJ's arrest was over heroin.
James, you have lost control of us. What is wrong with you tonight?
All right, let's bring it back a little bit. Does Jay or chat, this is kind of a feeler for anime. We're definitely going to bring Taylor back in some future episodes and kind of retouch if we get some questions. Don't forget, you can email us, parentsversusgaming@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. If you have questions, we'll bring Taylor back on a future episode as well, and we'll go over this. But before we move on to something else, does anyone in chat or Jay have any further questions on anime before we move on?
Okay, 2 questions. What does senpai mean? And what is the deal with all of these like guys walking around with these full-length like anime chick body pillows?
The anime chick body pillows? I don't know why that's really become a fad, but it's just one of those things that it got big for no reason. And people are not helping it at all by promoting it. They really aren't. And I didn't really hear your first question, if you want to repeat it, but the second one.
What does senpai mean?
Senpai?
Yeah.
The way they use it in anime and what it actually means is 2 different things. Senpai literally means like your elder, like someone that they're above you and you look up to them. That is like the base definition of it, but the context that they put on it in anime it changes up how they mean it. But it's literally just like your elder, someone that is like, let's say you're an 8th grader and you're looking at someone that's even in 9th. Technically, they're older, they're your elder, they're more advanced. So that would be your. they've definitely taken that word to the extreme.
Okay. James, these are the questions that the people want to know. I'm just the mouthpiece for the group chat. These are all the questions that they're too scared to ask.
Okay, Jay, how much research did you do this week that your wife does or doesn't know about?
I did 0 because I wanted to have good quality questions from inquiring minds.
I feel like I've completely lost control of any of this. As we move on, we're keeping Taylor here. We're going to talk a little bit of Xbox. I have a question for you two. Jay, I feel like this is right down your alley. You can't be upset. Do you guys know? I know that Taylor knows, but Jay, do you know what Xbox All Access is?
I mean, you've yelled at me numerous times about it.
Well, that's Game Pass.
Yelled. Oh, it's not the same thing?
No. So All Access is you can buy, I think it's for $25.99 a month or $35.99 a month, somewhere in there. Might be 35 or 25, whatever. The cheaper one is for the Xbox Series S, and then the more expensive one is for the Xbox Series X. It comes with 2-year subscription of Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, which so you get PC, cloud gaming, and all the games on your console. And it includes you paying off the console itself. I think overall you still either break even or you save money, but you can pay it by the month. For those that can't drop $500 on a console, it is an amazing option. Like, there's just no real negative to it. Anyways, it's not super well talked about. But Xbox, on Monday, partnered with All For One, and the I Swear song, they rewrote it for Xbox with a music video. Have either of you guys seen this?
No.
I haven't. Don't ruin that damn song for me. That was like my high school jam.
Taylor, have you seen this?
I have not, but I'm going to go ahead and ruin the whole All Access right now, because at the end of the day, if you're buying the Series X and you buy it at, what is it, $599 right now?
I think $499.
You're paying $499,
yeah.
So it's $500. So you're paying about $350 to $400 more for that Xbox doing that. Plus, you have to use their credit institution. You can't use any other variation of a different credit institution. You have to use their specific one. So, and it kind of, I don't like that because it makes you
you're
set up through them.
But I do want to step in on you, because I don't want anyone to chat to jump on you about being wrong about your numbers. Your numbers are wrong as far as it being $300 more, but I'm going to explain to you why. Remember what I said. It includes Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, which is $15 a month. So if you combine that with the $500 console, you actually save $15 after 2 years. But again, you are right. It does suck that you've got to use their financial institution. Of course, if you miss payments, things like that, if you're able to pay it off every month, it's not a problem. If you have the money, I'm with you, Taylor. I think you just buy the console outright. But for those that can't afford it, I mean, you got to admit it is a valuable alternative for someone that just can't go in and drop, $500. And
Don't listen to James. James, you are totally full of shit. I am going to put my dad hat on right now, and I'm going to say that you are not a financial advisor. And your financial
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Do not rent a center yourself.
That's what it is. That is what it is.
Do not, because here's the thing: is you do the math on that, but you're not including the interest rate that is anywhere from 10 to 25% a month to be able to knock that out.
But that's only if you're not paying your monthly payment. That's it.
No.
There's still interest on it.
Okay, so James, it's a credit card, and so James, you can't sit there and look at it from the pure business standpoint. I have the number 1 or number 2 console in the planet right now. What is my incentive to hook you up to a payment plan other than to get you to pay more for that console. There is no incentive. You can't even find these damn things. You guys have been joking with me for months now about getting me one, and then everyone goes, well, we can't find one anyway. And so there's no financial incentive. You are paying more because there's no way they're going to give you basically a free Xbox and be like, it's cool, dude. Pay us over the next 2 years. It's cool. No, there's no way that they're not using like Intuity or one of these other credit card companies right now in order to because they have to make money on it. There's no reason to have that program if they're not generating revenue off of it.
His mic's not working.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I will. I don't want to just jump in and agree with you because I think the way you guys looking at it is wrong because I researched a lot when I was going to go at the beginning. So we'll definitely look at this more when we go into the full Game Pass thing. We'll discuss this because I think that you guys are wrong as far as them charging interest as you go. I understand what you're saying. Contract? I did, and I think it all comes down to late. Again, I could totally be wrong. So we'll research this and we'll come back when we talk about the Xbox Game Pass. But I don't want to go too far in the deep end. The whole point of me bringing this up is that Xbox. I don't know, Jay, you're not so much on Twitter, but Taylor, you are. They are constantly just getting ripped on by Sony fanboys, and they're just buying games now. This, all that, and that. But Xbox, you have to give them credit. In my opinion, they've totally leaned into the meme culture, and anything they get made fun of, they just use it. So I love that they've jumped into this 90s genre with All for One. If you guys haven't seen it, I think you should look it up. It's just hilarious, and it's something that I think, as far as, and Jay, you're the marketing guy, but I think as a marketing standpoint, to use what could be them turning their nose up to negative publicity, they're just flipping that on its head and leaning into it and basically making fun of themselves. I mean, they even in the video, a girl's going on a date by herself to play a Game Pass game, and she's even ditching her Xbox One to upgrade to the Xbox Series S console. So it's they're basically saying how disastrous their last console generation was. That they're definitely not afraid to make fun of themselves, and I think it's been a very smart marketing scheme for them.
Well, here's the thing: is you have to look at it from a demo standpoint. Is that generation from the '90s is now in the position to be able to be the strongest buying market that's out there right now. Boomers are dying. See, greatest generation's leaving. They've really lost their wherewithal, and so the late '80s, '90s, early 2000s, they're coming in. They're stable. They have families. They have buying power, and they are now the buying power. Who was it? Tag Team. Whoop, there it is. They just did a remix on something. There was a remix of a couple. Hell, they just announced that NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, and Boyz II Men are doing a concert series down in Las Vegas coming up next month. And if you don't think I wasn't damn excited and looking at those tickets, you got to be out of your mind. But I mean, it's that's where everything's going. And I mean, if you want to look at a Twitter account that's killing it right now, look at Wendy's. And I think I've said it on here before. If you don't think Wendy's is not the absolute damn king of the saucy comeback, I don't know who the person is running that social media account, but they are killing it. Absolutely killing it. And the same thing with, I think it's Slim Jim. They've got it kind of that edgy sort of thing. And really all you're seeing is the next generation coming in who's okay to make fun of themselves. It's okay to have a little fun at your own expense. And I think that really speaks to our generational shift that we're seeing in the U.S. Is that there's more humor, there's more memes, there's more, more just everything that's kind of that pop culture reference. And, Shadow, we just talked about that earlier, even before we jumped on was, dude, Loki, did you catch all the Easter eggs? People are eating that stuff up right now of oh my God, that's All for One. Oh my God, that was Tag Team. Oh my God. There's those callbacks and that stuff that kind of speaks to the larger kind of pop culture that's just killing it. So yeah, I think they're doing a great job with it. And Sony, once again, probably needs to get the stick out of their ass because that's where it usually sits. But I think you're going to see more and more of that coming through. I mean, look at Warzone. Warzone just had a massive 1980s Rambo John McClane callback, and people lost their damn minds. Me being one of them. I thought that was the coolest thing else, and then they left Nakatomi Tower in. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely you can see them they're eating it up. So I'm very excited. Next week is probably going to be a good week to jump into this Game Pass kind of taking over. I'll send Jay. I'll make sure you read up on it a little bit. Being the PlayStation guy that's so hell-bent on refusing to join all of your friends with an Xbox console, which, again, my laughter about it is, I mean, if I had the money, I would have a PlayStation 5 too. I just can't afford both. My friends play on Xbox. I have Xbox. I love Game Pass. I get to play so many games that I would have never wanted to spend $60 on. But everybody that I meet that says they're a PlayStation, I was doing a show for my job, a trade show, and somebody that was there was a kid there with his family working, helping with, they had a booth as well. So this 14-year-old kid comes over. This kid's got a YouTube channel he's showing me. He streams. Like, this kid really knows his stuff. Big Star Wars fan. Like, they were selling lightsabers at their booth, and it was crazy. And he starts going on a rant about his favorite game is Minecraft. He's a PlayStation player. He's like, well, it was originally a PlayStation exclusive. I said, no, it wasn't. I said it was bought by Xbox, but yes, they basically leave the company alone, but they left it on PlayStation. So then he says, well, I know one that is PlayStation exclusive. He goes, Minecraft Dungeons. And I go, I'll bet you one of your lightsabers that it's not. I got it down to a hat. But he says, no way. So I literally just pulled up Game Pass on mobile through the cloud and started Minecraft Dungeons, and he's sitting there playing it on my phone, and he sees the big Xbox logo come up. And every game that he mentioned that he liked to play, that he thought was a PlayStation-only game, was either an Xbox game that switched over, or it was a third-party game they could play. And I said, well, don't you like the PlayStation games? And he's like, well, what are the PlayStation exclusives in? I said, Last of Us. And I know he's a 13, 14-year-old kid, but he goes, no, that game's garbage. I go, what about God of War? He's like, it's okay. I go, what about Spider-Man? He goes, it's boring after 10 minutes. I go, so you literally don't like any games on PlayStation. Why do you have a PlayStation? Then his parents came over and I was explaining to them what Game Pass was, and he was like, they were like, maybe your next console should be an Xbox, because they were like, what do you mean it can be on mobile? And I was like, yeah, it's just on mobile. So we had a lot of laughs on it. I know, Jay, you're big about the controller, but you haven't held the PlayStation 5 controller yet. You keep saying the Xbox controller is huge, but I've told you multiple times the PS5 controller is bigger than the Xbox controller. So I would love, I'm going to send you plenty of articles. Hopefully Gump, he's big and he wants to push this Game Pass. He'll come back to talk about it, and he can jump in with some comments as well. I think we'll have a good talk, and for you to really compare. And I'll even show you the PlayStation service. We'll talk about PlayStation Now versus Xbox Game Pass and what they're doing, and whether you think maybe Xbox is going to start forcing, Nintendo and PlayStation to change the way they do it. Maybe they're going to get left behind. There's just too many things going right with it, whether it's developers talking great about it, they're still making money on it, people still want to buy the games to technically own them, DLC that can be sold off there. There's just no... and whether you like PlayStation or Xbox, to me it doesn't matter. The only people that drive me nuts are the people that say Game Pass is stupid or Game Pass is bad. There's really, there is no negative to it. If you don't want it, great. But to say that it's crazy for people to have it, I think is a bad thing. So, Jay, we're going to hopefully open your eyes even more as the week goes on. Our goal on this channel, chat, is to get Jay by Christmas with an Xbox console, so when he turns it on and he plays Warzone and he dies with us still, he's using an Xbox and not a PlayStation.
Wait, so how much is this Game Pass thing? It's like, what, $15 a month?
If you want Ultimate Game Pass, if you don't, then it's only $10 a month. But, and we'll talk about this next week, Microsoft has a thing called Microsoft Rewards. Jay, I've had Game Pass since it came out, And Microsoft Rewards, you just get points by playing games or using internet searches or just dumb things that you get points for. I have actually,
Ugh.
I have actually.
You use Bing?
No, I don't use Bing, but there's other ways.
Oh, okay.
There's so many ways around this. I have never used my actual money to buy Game Pass, not once. I earn
You know what that
I
means,
spent
right?
all my points this month, and I'm already back up to
You know
10,000.
Wait, you know what that means, right? If you don't pay for something, it means you're the product.
Oh, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying that I get it, but that's what I'm saying. There's so many ways around this that it just benefits the consumer if you're just willing to do a few things here or there. So I think it's just a smart move. So hopefully we'll push the needle. I would say we're like 40% of the way there. You're still very pro
Ugh.
PlayStation, but I feel like we're getting closer as you upgrade, soon to be upgrading that PS4. Maybe we can get you over the edge.
I don't know, man. This thing's still rocking. I don't even have the helicopter sound that everyone complained about before it dies, so it's still rolling.
I'll come visit and just throw some dust in there. So with that being said,
Blow it
guys,
in there.
thank you so much for everybody coming out, joining us, watching, hanging out for a little bit. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, if you have any questions, reach out, parentsfirstgaming@gmail.com. Let's go around the room real quick and say goodbye. Taylor, if people wanted to find you, ask questions, is there any way, any kind of social media that you have that people can reach out to you directly?
They could reach out through my Instagram, actually. It's still up and running. Surprisingly, it's not as big as what it once was, but it's still there. If they want to direct message me, it is at Master of Shadows, just like my gamer tag. So it's not an S at the beginning of Shadows, it's 5.
So
I
Master
get a lot
of 5 Shadows.
Of Shadows, yes. I get that a lot. But yeah, no, it's the same exact as my gamer tag, so they can reach out through there. It's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me, because I don't really use my Twitter, and Facebook's more of a personal thing that I just use to scroll through and watch people do dumb things that they want to post on the internet.
Nice. And Jay, what about you? Where can people find you if they want to get a hold of you for any hentai questions?
Send everything tentacle related to I am the gaming dad. He can go ahead and filter it through to me.
Please do.
Send all of your tentacle. And then if you have, and then parents, just really the big takeaway today is once again, always watch your kids. If they ask for a giant anime pillow, you probably want to double check their browser history, and anything with tentacles, make sure you turn it off.
Someone please put an octopus in chat. Now.
No, thank you. All right, guys. So I do have a little bit of news from my end. Once again, my name is James Ayers. I am the Gaming Dad. So you can find me at I am the Gaming Dad at anything, whether it's Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, all of that. Also, we are part of Last Choice Network that we are about to launch completely full-time right now on Last Choice Network on YouTube. Master of Shadows and I actually are playing through A Way Out. So every day we are uploading a part of A Way Out, about a 20 to 30 minute segment. We'll get all the way through. And for those that haven't played before, if you do want to watch along, the end, there's multiple endings. We played through both endings, so we're going to have that on there for you. And also, the I Am the Gaming Dad is going to be a little bit less on Twitch and a little bit more on YouTube. And within, probably by the end of the month, Parents vs. Gaming will probably leave Twitch altogether and go straight to our Last Choice Network YouTube channel for our live recordings. And then, of course, you can find the follow-up, the edited versions of it later as well. I'm probably going to start shifting my entire self over to YouTube with the kind of content and things that we want to do. For those that are streamers, someone I highly suggest looking up is Alpha Gaming. I am about to make a claim. For anyone in chat's probably going to think that I am crazy, but I think for small-time streamers, I think that within the next year or two, we could start seeing the end of Twitch, comparable to what I would say was the end of Snapchat. I'm not going to say Snapchat is completely dead, but once these other Instagram and Facebook and all these other, and Twitter now, Discord. They added all these things. Snapchat was just about stories. Well, now you have stories on Facebook, you have stories on Instagram, you have stories on Twitter, and they do all these other things. YouTube is kind of doing the same thing. To grow on Twitch, what do they tell you have to do? You have to make content. You can't just stream. As far as a small streamer, you've got to create content. Where does your content go? Your content goes to TikTok and to YouTube. You can even stream on TikTok now. And Twitch just has streaming. So if Twitch doesn't, in my opinion, if they don't change, I think it's something that could die off. Now, of course, your high end streamers, I think they're going to be there for a while. Of course, they get paid to be there. I'm nowhere near there, but that shift is probably going to happen soon. I apologize for anyone that is so anti YouTube or doesn't want to join us there. I hope that you guys come over. We love the interaction with chat for the live podcast, so I hope to see you guys over on the YouTube channel within a couple of weeks as well. So with that being said, I'm going to say goodbye for everyone. Once again, this was episode 16. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us and staying us on this adventure with us. And I think pretty soon we're going to add a second podcast with just Jay and I. Kind of just two dads talking about something dumb every week. It'll be probably not live, but it'll be on all the podcast platforms. It'll be mainly an audio version. And hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll talk to everyone soon. See you guys next week. Goodbye.